Welcome again to all. Greetings to all. Hi mom. Welcome once more to Unicornio Pitch, the show where we talk with the top investors, innovators, creators, entrepreneurs, and businessmen to find out what makes them tick. How did they get there, and just how you can apply what you learn from them to make your dreams come true. Today's show will be more on the inspirational side. Our guest today has dedicated most of his life to TCS and to bringing growth and betterment to the country of India and the world. To tell us a little bit more about it, please welcome Rajeev Gupta, representative of TATA Consultancy Services Mexico. Hello Rajiv, welcome to Unicornio Pitch. Welcome to our humble studio. I hope you're doing well, and to kick things off, tell me, have you ever been interviewed by a unicorn?
Yes, that's right. And I see its name is Kori. Very interesting name for a unicorn.
I can say that this is the first. Actually, Kori is just short for Cornelius. It's an old family name. Anyways, if you don't mind me asking, why do you think it's such an interesting name?
Kori, again, it's something which is I've never heard as a name of anyone, especially coming out of a unicorn. So that's where it's different. It's interesting. And this name, you can actually remember it for a long time. You know, if you keep it as a standard name, after 1 week, probably you'll forget. I will not forget Kori. Even if we meet next year, I'll remember Kori.
Whoa, you're making me blush. Thank goodness for being purple. And now that you have done such a fine job introducing me, why don't we introduce yourself next? Tell us, who are you? What do you do in TATA?
My name is Rajeev Gupta. I represent TATA Consultancy Services in Mexico. I'm the country head for TCS. We call as TCS, TATA Consultancy Services in Mexico. I have been in TCS for last 21 years. This is my first company. I directly joined after my university engineering in the company. And I have been in various roles, various global locations within the company. I've worked in India, I've worked in US, and currently I'm in Mexico looking after our business in Mexico for our clients, for both our Mexican companies, the regional Latin American companies, as well as the US companies.
So you have been in the company for 21 years?
Yes.
Really? The only company you have been a part of?
That's right. I've never worked in any other company.
That is a long time. I'm sure you're not the only one who's experienced this opportunity to be a part of a company for so long. Tell me now about Tata as a company. What is the story of which you have been a part of?
I'm extremely proud of working in TATA Group. TATA Group is 150 years old group. We started in 1868 in India. It was started by our founder, Mr. Jamshedji Tata. It was a trading company as it started in Mumbai, in Bombay, at erstwhile Bombay. And that's where we started, and we started growing. But what we believe Tata is what we say as leadership with trust. It's about giving back to the society in all the ways we can. So it's a group company of more than 100 companies in the Tata Group, from Tata Consultancy Services, which is more on the information technology and helping the digital transformation for our global clients. We have Tata Steel, we have Tata Motors that also owns Land Rover and Jaguar. We have Tata Hotels. Then we have Tata Beverages. Virtually, if you in India, if you, from the morning till evening in your lifestyle, it is impossible not to be served a Tata product or Tata services in one day. So that's what we are extremely proud of on our contribution to the society, on the contribution to the customers, the contribution to our bigger stakeholders.
I'm sure that such a big company has an undeniable impact on our environment. What measures is TCS taking to help fight climate change and to become a sustainable, responsible company?
Obviously, being sustainable, renewable is one of the big focus of the Tata Group. So whether it's in terms of the innovation that is happening within the Tata Group. It's a recycling of some of these, you call as a digital waste or electronic waste, for example, in terms of we have some of the innovative products what we have created in terms of even as basic as recycling the water. How do you even provide potable and the drinking water to a bigger portion of the population that still does not have an access to that? How do you work on renewable energy? So as a clean, green, renewable energy. That is one of the focus areas for the Tata Group, where we are investing heavily on these technologies. Within TCS, again, we are working with our global companies, whether it's on energy and the resources and the utilities company. How do you bring about this digital innovation, the transformation about using the limited resources in the best possible way so that our earth can be safe while we are growing in different areas. So that's what is our philosophy of providing a greener, cleaner, sustainable world to our children.
That is quite a long journey for Tata. And what about you? How long have you been in Mexico?
It's been more than 10 years in Mexico.
If you could summarize your current vision of what you do at Tata TCS in a couple of words or lines, what would they be?
For us, if I have to define, not even in one line, in one word, it will be growth and transformation. That is what we focus on. How do you help the companies grow? How do you help the companies transform?
Before, you mentioned that you have been working at Tata for the past 21 years. That was your first company. I want to know, how does Tata keep people for that long? What offer does it make to young people that makes them want to dedicate their future to helping this company grow?
What I mentioned earlier is, when I say growth and transformation, it is not just only limited to our clients. It is as an individual. So that is what we promise that students or the young kids, when they join TCS, it's how they can grow and how they can transform. How they can have that career, what they have looked for, how they can actually work with the companies that they have only heard about growing up. We are working with the top of the top banks, we are working with the top retailers, we are working with the top life sciences company, the manufacturing companies, the automotives company, the healthcare companies. It's like a dream come true. When the companies whose name you have heard growing up, finally getting an opportunity for working for those companies. So it's that type of a growth and transformation. The second exciting thing about us is our multicultural thing. You have seen we are working in more than 40 countries globally. How do I get an opportunity to work today in Mexico, tomorrow in US, day after tomorrow in Europe, in India, in China, in Hungary, in Chile? That is what is enticing to the young generation that is coming up. How do you get that experience of working with the fellow people in your company? Somebody is from different nationality. How do you learn from that type of an experience? So it's the amalgamation, what I can say, of working for those top companies, working in a multicultural environment, working on the top of the top technology projects. So as I mentioned, we are helping our companies on the digital transformation journey, and that is where it gives us opportunity to not just only theoretically what you have learned in your universities, but actually to practice that, actually to get projects on big data, on artificial intelligence, on augmented reality and virtual reality applications, being a data scientist. That's what the future is going about, and that's what is the opportunities that we all in our company get to actually work on those projects for these top companies. That's what excites us more than anything.
And talking about big projects for top companies, I would like to know, what are the next steps for Tata Mexico? Are you building new infrastructure, or are there any new big projects you can tell us about?
Right now in Mexico, we have more than 100 clients that we are serving. Both, as I mentioned, a lot of our clients are from Mexico. A lot of our clients are from Latin America, the regional clients, as well as from US and Europe. More than the number of the clients, it's the customer satisfaction, what we see. The clients are extremely happy with the services, what they get from TCS. In Mexico, we have almost 8,000 people working for these top companies from various cities in Mexico, whether it's Guadalajara or Querétaro or Mexico City and the other parts of the country. And that's more than 91% of our workforce is our Mexican associates. So these projects are being driven by our Mexican associates. We are recruiting, we are having that partnership with the universities on getting the top talent from the country every year and train them and deploy them into the projects. A big focus on investment on infrastructure improvements in terms of creating what we call as agile delivery centers. These are the centers of innovation, the joint innovation with the customers. So that's where we are investing in Querétaro, we are investing in Guadalajara, we are investing in Mexico City. So in terms of digital talent creation, that is another focus area for us. That's where we are growing. Not just only till the university students.
Any specific initiatives?
We have pretty exciting initiatives. One of the initiatives is Go IT, which is even engaging the students who are as young as going in the middle school. How do you catch the attention of these young students in the whole information technology area so that they grow up having that interest? How to create that interest in the programming in terms of their interest in robotics, for example. Similarly, another initiative what we have is we call as Women in Tech. We have about 1/3 of our workforce is the women associates. But how do you have the more participation of women? How do you encourage the women to join an IT company, and not just only in the initial stages but in the leadership positions? So how do you encourage and give those opportunities to women? Then in terms of university, I already mentioned some of those other initiatives. What we have is one initiative we call as Code Vita. It is a global competition where anybody across any of the universities globally participate on the programming contest based on some of these real life problem examples. So how do you bring that whole ecosystem together of the universities, of the schools, of the industries for the betterment of the society? So at the end of the day, it is not just only about a quarter in a revenue and profitability. It is more about how do you create a sustainable business ecosystem which is socially inclusive for all the stakeholders of the country.
I had no idea you had all those programs running. I agree with you, especially on the whole bringing younger generations closer to technology. I think it's really important to teach them just how much they can do with it and what path is necessary for them to truly develop in that area. Rajiv, I want to thank you so much for such a great interview. You have brought some wonderful insight into socially conscious industry. Thank you again.
Thank you.
That was Rajeev Gupta, representative of TATA Consultancy Services Mexico. And this is the end of our show. Before you go, I want to thank you all for staying until now. This is the final show of our first season. If you have not seen all our episodes, please check them out on our channel. Tell us down in the comment section, who would you like to see next? Like always, share, like, and subscribe, and thank you if you already have. I have been your host, Cornelius Elias III, but you can call me Kori. This was Unicornio Pitch. Until next season!